Welcome back. A Nobel Peace Laureate's struggle with cancer is becoming the focus of a government propaganda offensive in China. Dissident Liu Xiaobo was diagnosed with liver cancer while in prison. Well, he has been granted medical parole and is receiving treatment at a Chinese hospital. He isn't allowed to leave the country, though. But under international pressure, China has been slowly releasing more information on his condition, most recently by leaked footage from inside the hospital. Well, CNN's Andrew Stevens joins us now live from Beijing with more. And Andrew, this leaked footage has certainly upset the Germans, who see this as a breach of doctor-patient confidentiality. What has been the fallout?
Well, the Germans said, yes, there was a breach, and also that they had expressly asked the Chinese authorities not to show anything but this surveillance footage, about a minute's worth of surveillance footage, which showed Liu Xiaobo lying in his hospital bed, surrounded by local nursing and doctor staff, plus a German and a US doctor. And the German doctor was saying that he said what he saw was the Chinese medical staff showing their full commitment to trying to save Liu Xiaobo. Now, he did not say that this was the best treatment he could possibly get, and this is the nub of it. Liu Xiaobo wants to go overseas to get treatment. He is terminally ill and he wants treatment. The US have called for him to be allowed to leave, the UK and the Germans as well, Anna. Now, the German embassy is almost unprecedented. They released a statement today saying, and I'll just quote this, they say that it looks like it seems that the security organs are now steering this process of Liu Xiaobo's treatment and where he should be treated, not the medical experts. And Angela Merkel has chimed in. She's called on China to show some humanity. There is a growing chorus, but at the moment, Beijing is saying nothing other than he stays where he is in this regional hospital in northeastern China.
Andrew, there's been much criticism that this is a blatant Chinese propaganda, the release of these videos, with the German doctor complimenting Chinese colleagues of their treatment of Liu Xiaobo. But I guess we need to remember that this is a government that has refused, as you say, to allow Liu, a political prisoner, terminally ill, from travelling overseas to receive treatment. Does this really paint China in a positive light?
Well, absolutely not. I mean, it's growing chorus, a man's dying wish in many ways. That remember, he was jailed in 2009 for 11 years, Anna, because he co-authored a report which called for more human rights in China, for political reform in China. In Beijing's eyes, he is a criminal. They say that he incited subversion. Now, to many dissidents in China, around the world, to many Western governments in particular, he was just calling for more human rights. And as a man who now is in the terminal stages of liver cancer, as you say, he was paroled just a month ago from his prison cell to be allowed to go to a local hospital. All he wants to do is to spend his last days in getting the best treatment he can get in wherever, the US or Germany most likely. That is what he wants. What we saw, as you suggest, what looked like a propaganda effort was to try to show the Germans were saying that he was getting them the best treatment possible. That wasn't what they were saying. They were saying that the medical staff at this hospital were committed to helping him, but they didn't say whether that treatment was the best there is. Liu Xiaobo, I mean, may just have days or weeks left to live. And this growing outrage around the world for his release on humanitarian grounds, just to be treated for his final days, still falling very firmly on deaf ears in Beijing.
Andrew Stevens joining us from Beijing. Many thanks for that. Well, days of heavy rain has caused devastating flooding in southern China. State media report dozens have been killed and hundreds of thousands of people have been forced to evacuate their homes. CNN meteorologist Jennifer Gray is tracking the weather there. Jennifer, what can you tell us?
Well, Anna, the scary part is it doesn't look like we're going to see any relief anytime soon. We've had day upon day of just flooding rainfall, and you can see the result, people trying to get around in flooded streets, and this has been a problem. Here's the monsoon and the timing of it. You can see southern sections of China should have been right around June 1st to June 10th. Monsoon should be way up to the north by now, but we are still getting rains, very heavy rain, day after day. And the problem is these storms are just training, meaning the thunderstorms are rolling over the same place one day after day, hour after hour, just as a train does on the tracks. That's why we call it training. And that's what causes severe flooding in these areas. We saw it last weekend. We've seen it again this week. And now we're going to continue to see it over the next couple of days. And during the last 3 days, some of these places have received several months worth of rainfall just in a couple of days. And so with events like this on a weekly basis, you can imagine the flooding that we're seeing. And you can see the Yangtze River filling over its banks, flooding a lot of the nearby towns and villages, and also a lot of the tributaries that flow into the Yangtze are also flooded. And so all of these tributaries that are going to flow right into that river, it's just going to exacerbate the process. And so $103 million in government aid already handed out. And with more rainfall expected in the next 48 hours, you can count on more flooding. You can see anywhere from 100 to 150 millimeters of rainfall expected in this area. So it looks like we're not going to see any relief anytime soon. Of course, if those showers continue to head up to the north as they should, we could see still more flooding in some of those downstream locations, Anna.
Jennifer Gray.